What would you do if you feel completely abandoned and hopeless? Stay until the end of this video to discover how a mother transformed her pain into a miracle that will change your perspective on life. A woman with terminal cancer was abandoned by her husband and son. Months later, they returned for the inheritance and had no idea what awaited them.
It was a sunny morning in Miami.
Gloria, a recognized executive, was heading to her office. The city's streets pulsed with a vibrant rhythm of daily life, reflecting Gloria's dynamic career. Her office, located in an imposing building in the financial center, was a testament to her professional achievements. Despite her demanding routine, Gloria always found time for her health and for her son Eric, an energetic and creative 18-year-old. Gloria had always been an active person and conscious of her health, but almost every day, mainly at night, she began to feel unusual fatigue and a persistent dry cough. Initially, she attributed this to work stress. However, as the days passed, these symptoms not only persisted but also worsened. Gloria noticed that her usual energy was diminishing and that small tasks were becoming surprisingly exhausting. Additionally, a mild but constant chest pain began to appear, accompanied by a loss of appetite that she couldn't explain. Concerned about these unusual signs, she decided to see a doctor. Gloria always kept her appointments and routine checkups, but in the past year, with the growth of her business, visits to the doctor became less frequent. However, she went to the appointment with a sense of anxiety and hope that it wasn't anything serious. After a series of exams and tests, the doctor sat down in front of her with a worried look. "Gloria, the results show something we need to investigate further," he said cautiously. "I am going to refer you to an oncology specialist." Gloria's body froze. It seemed like everything around her was in slow motion, and scenes from her entire life were flashing through her mind at full speed. "My God, this can't be happening," she thought. The doctor, patiently, added, "Don't worry, Dr. Steven is waiting for you. He will explain everything and help you in the best possible way. He is a very experienced doctor. You can go to the next consultation room." The atmosphere in the oncologist's office was solemn. Gloria, feeling a mix of apprehension and hope, awaited the doctor's words. With a compassionate look, he began to explain the situation. "Gloria, the tests showed that you have lung carcinoma in a nearly advanced stage. I'm not going to lie, it's a serious condition, and the road ahead is challenging, but we are here to fight with you." Gloria felt as if the ground had vanished beneath her feet. "I didn't expect this. I always took care of my health. How could this happen?" she asked, her voice trembling with surprise and fear at the news. The doctor offered a compassionate look. "I understand this is shocking, Gloria. Unfortunately, cancer often doesn't show clear signs until it's in a more advanced stage. But even now, we have treatment options. We will discuss each of them and find the best possible path. Oncology medicine has advanced a lot, and there are new therapies that can offer significant results. I am here to support you in every decision and ensure you receive the best possible care." Gloria, absorbing the words, felt a mix of fear and determination. "What do we do now? How do we start this battle?" she asked, her voice taking on a new resolve. "Let's start with a detailed discussion of your treatment options. Each case is unique, and we will customize the plan according to your specific needs," the doctor replied, preparing to guide her through the next steps. Upon returning home, to a cozy space she had carefully and lovingly decorated, Gloria prepared to tell Eric and her husband Henry. Sitting in the living room, surrounded by memories of happy family moments, silence prevailed after the revelation. Eric, trying to be strong for his mother, held back tears, while Henry hugged Gloria, promising unconditional support. In the days that followed, as Gloria reflected on the impact of the news on her life and career, she began to organize her priorities. She knew she would have to balance treatment with her responsibilities, but she was determined to stay strong for her family. Within that house, a new phase of challenge and overcoming began. As Gloria's treatment intensified, a subtle but profound change began to infiltrate her home. Since the diagnosis, the routine became a joint effort between her husband and son. Every morning, They meticulously organized themselves to ensure that all of Gloria's needs were met. Henry took charge of administering medications, ensuring that Gloria took them on time, and accompanied her to numerous medical appointments and chemotherapy sessions. On the other hand, her son Eric took on the task of preparing balanced and easy-to-digest meals, adapting to Gloria's changing palate and appetite. Henry also remained attentive during the night. He was always available to help Gloria with her immediate needs, whether helping her move around the house or providing emotional support during the most difficult moments. Despite the initial care, over time and with increased attention, the atmosphere in the house began to change. Henry and Eric, once pillars of strength and support, now seemed to falter in the face of Gloria's growing needs. Simple requests like a glass of water or a short walk in the garden were met with a tired sigh or sometimes ignored. Gloria watched with a mix of sadness and understanding the silent resistance of her family. On one particularly difficult morning, when Gloria needed to go to the hospital for her chemotherapy, she found the house wrapped in heavy silence. Henry was still in bed and showed no intention of getting up. Gloria, who was downstairs, called him from the master bedroom and asked if he had forgotten the time of the appointment. He, with a dull voice, suggested, "Maybe you should take a taxi, Gloria. I'm very tired today. You have the contact of the neighborhood taxi cooperative on your cell phone. Just call one of them," Gloria replied, hiding her disappointment while waiting for the taxi, with turbulent thoughts invading her mind. Am I asking too much? She wondered internally. Is my illness becoming an unbearable burden? The taxi arrived, driven by a kind gentleman who immediately noticed Gloria's fragility. "I will take care of you, don't worry," he said with an encouraging smile. Gloria felt unexpected relief in the presence of this stranger. Upon arriving at the hospital, she had her session and then returned home. Sitting in the spacious living room, Gloria watched the sunset through the large windows. The soft evening light contrasted with the weight she felt in her heart. She knew it was time to address the growing distance between her and her family. When Henry and Eric joined her in the living room, she took a deep breath, gathering the courage to start the difficult conversation. "I remember when this room was always filled with laughter and plans for the future," Gloria began, her voice trembling but firm. "But I feel like everything has changed since my diagnosis. It seems like I have become a burden to you." Henry, sitting uncomfortably on the sofa, avoided eye contact. "Gloria, it's not that simple. We are all trying to deal with this in our own way," he said, his voice revealing a fatigue that went beyond the physical. Eric, sitting next to his father, seemed uncomfortable, his eyes full of sadness and unease. "Mom, it's hard. I want to help, but sometimes I don't know how," he murmured. Gloria, with a mix of understanding and determination, proposed, "Maybe we could get external help. We can hire someone to help me with daily tasks and medical appointments. That could lighten the load for us." Henry, with a sigh, responded disinterestedly, "If you think that will help." His response, lacking empathy, made it clear that he didn't fully understand the gravity of the situation. Gloria, despite her disappointment with Henry's reaction, kept her focus on finding a solution. "Tomorrow I will contact the hospital to see if they can recommend someone. We need someone experienced to help us on this journey," Gloria responded. Eric thought for a moment and agreed. "Sounds like a good idea, Mom." Gloria, with a slight smile, felt a spark of hope. She was determined to keep her family together despite the challenges. Her resilient spirit and her ability to find practical solutions to difficult problems were qualities that had always guided her days. Days later, the new nurse Gloria hired arrived and began to care for her. She was a specialist in cancer patients and knew exactly how to handle such situations. Sitting in the living room, the tension between Gloria and Henry was palpable. She looked at her husband, clearly uncomfortable with the presence of the nurse in the house. "Henry, I see that you feel uncomfortable with a nurse. What is your concern?" Gloria asked. Henry looked at her hesitantly. "I don't feel well. It's strange to have another man caring for. I feel like they are replacing me," Henry confessed. Gloria tried to calm him down. "Henry, he is only here to help me with my health. It's not personal. I need him, especially on chemotherapy days." If you feel capable of taking on that care, we can talk about it. Henry, with a mix of frustration and concern, replied, "It's not just about caring. Gloria, it's about feeling useful. It seems like you no longer need me here." Gloria, seeking to reassure him, explained, "You are important, you always have been, but the nurse has specific experience with cancer patients. He is here to help us, not to replace you." The conversation became more tense when Henry expressed his resentment. "You shouldn't depend so much on others. Try to be more independent," he said, clearly agitated. "Henry, there are days when I can barely move due to chemotherapy. It's not a matter of wanting to be independent or not," Gloria replied, trying to make him understand the seriousness of her condition. Unable to accept the situation, Henry abruptly stood up and left, slamming the door shut. Later, his mother-in-law's call only added to the tension. "Gloria, it's not appropriate for a man to care for you. It's disrespectful," she said over the phone. Gloria calmly responded, "I understand your concerns, but my health is the priority now. He is a qualified professional and is here to help me." That night, lying in bed, Gloria thought about how her illness was affecting everyone around her. She knew she needed to address these delicate matters with Henry. "We need to find a middle ground," she thought, determined to maintain peace and understanding in the family. As Gloria continued her treatment, she realized that the cancer hadn't worsened, but that didn't seem enough to maintain harmony at home. A week after a tense conversation with Henry, the atmosphere in the home seemed to return to normal and her treatment continued without incident. However, a shocking scene awaited her upon returning from a chemotherapy session. A moving truck was parked in front of her house. Upon entering, Gloria found Henry and Eric packing their things. "I am going to stay at my mother's house for a while," Henry said, avoiding looking at her directly. Gloria felt a wave of sadness and frustration, but she was so exhausted from treatment that she could barely express her feelings. Looking at Eric, she asked in a trembling voice, "Do you want to go too?" "Eric, you can make your own decisions." Eric, with a cold expression on his face, replied, "It's too hard to be here, Mom. I'd rather stay with Dad." Eric's words were like a blow to Gloria, confirming her worst fears of feeling unwanted and abandoned in the midst of her struggle. After Henry and Eric left, Gloria's house, once full of life and love, now echoed with melancholic silence as she struggled to accept the new reality. An unexpected figure knocked on her door, her cousin Sophie, who had heard about the recent events. "Gloria, I heard what happened. I couldn't let you face this alone," Sophie said, hugging her tightly. Sophie, a woman with a strong spirit and a welcoming heart, had always had a special relationship with Gloria. Gloria, feeling a mix of relief and sadness, shared with Sophie the challenges she was facing. "They left," Gloria said, "right when I needed them the most." Sophie, with tears running down her face, listened attentively. Her expression mixed concern and indignation. "That's incredible, Gloria, but you're not alone. I will stay with you during this period. We will overcome this together," Sophie affirmed with determination. In the days that followed, Sophie became a constant and comforting presence in the house. She helped with daily tasks, accompanied Gloria to her appointments, and provided much-needed companionship. "You've always been more than a cousin to me, Sophie. You are a true friend," Gloria said in a moment of gratitude. With Sophie by her side, Gloria felt a little stronger to face the challenges of her condition. The house, which once seemed empty and cold, began to regain a bit of human warmth. There was still a deep pain from Henry and Eric's departure, but Sophie's presence brought new hope and strength for Gloria to continue on her path to recovery. Sophie had always been a figure of resilience and strength, qualities forged by challenging circumstances in her own life. Widowed for a few years, she lost her husband in a tragic car accident when her 2 children were still young. Since then, Sophie dedicated herself tirelessly to raising her children alone, balancing the responsibilities of being a single mother with hard work. Despite daily challenges, Sophie never allowed difficulties to shake her optimistic spirit. She raised her children with love and dedication, instilling in them values of strength and compassion, and took pride in seeing them grow healthy and happy despite the absence of their father. When she learned about Gloria's situation, Sophie didn't hesitate to offer her help. She saw in Gloria not just a cousin, but a sister at heart, dividing her time between work, caring for her children, and helping Gloria. Sophie was an example of altruism and generosity. "I know you would do the same for me," Sophie said while preparing a meal for Gloria. "We are family. We need to support each other, especially in difficult times." She cared for Gloria with the same tenderness and attention she gave her children, balancing visits to the hospital and chemotherapy sessions with school activities and her children's needs. At night, after putting her children to bed, Sophie rushed to Gloria's house. She sat beside her, sharing stories, laughter, and sometimes tears. "You know, Gloria, sometimes life tests us in ways we never expect. Losing my husband was devastating, but it taught me to cherish every moment and to be strong for my children," Sophie reflected. Gloria, listening attentively, found inspiration in Sophie's strength. "You are incredible, Sophie. I don't know how you managed to do all this," Gloria admired. Sophie smiled a smile that hid her fatigue but radiated hope. "We women are made of something special, Gloria. We have the ability to carry the world on our shoulders and keep moving forward." The next day, feeling the painful absence of Henry and Eric, Gloria decided to call them to try to reconnect and express her feelings. With a heavy heart, she dialed Henry's number. "Henry, I miss you."
How are you?
Gloria asked, trying to hide the sadness in her voice. Henry responded with an indifferent tone that broke Gloria's heart. "We're fine, Gloria. Eric and I are adapting to the new life. Don't worry about us." His words were cold, lacking the concern and love Gloria longed to hear. "But I care," Gloria insisted. "I need you, especially now. Look, Gloria, I understand it's hard for you, but we all have our lives.
We can't stay stuck in this.
Eric and I are moving forward," Henry said, abruptly ending the conversation and leaving Gloria with the phone in her hand and tears in her eyes. The next day, Gloria tried again, this time calling Eric. "Eric, Mom needs you. I miss you so much," she said hopefully. However, Eric, though softer than Henry, expressed a similar resolution. "Mom, I like being here with Dad. I don't need to think about illnesses all the time." "I'm sorry, but I don't want to come back," Eric admitted. Eric's words, though said reluctantly, were a hard blow for Gloria, who understood the depth of her family's rejection. Gloria hung up the phone feeling abandoned and helpless. Sophie, sensing Gloria's anguish, approached and hugged her tightly. "They don't know what they're missing, Gloria. You are an incredible, strong, and brave woman. I am here with you, offering you comfort." Those conversations left Gloria feeling desolate. With each passing day, it became more evident that Henry and Eric had decided to distance themselves, leaving her to deal with her illness alone. As the days went by, Sophie became an inexhaustible source of support for Gloria. Realizing how discouraged Gloria was by the situation with Henry and Eric, Sophie decided to bring a bit more joy into her life. One day, she arrived with her two children, Francisca and Matthias, to spend the afternoon with Gloria. "We are excited to see you, Gloria. We want you to know that you also have a family here with us," Sophie said, smiling. Gloria felt her heart warm with the presence of the children. Francisca and Matthias filled the house with laughter and energy. For a few hours, Gloria was able to forget her sadness and surrender to the simple joy of being with family. Sophie, despite her humble life, never allowed difficulties to stop her in her pursuit of improvement. "I will tell you about my return to school," Sophie shared with Gloria. "You know, Gloria, after the children grew a bit, I decided to go back to studying. I am studying nursing with a scholarship I obtained. It's an effort, but I know it will be worth it." Sophie's voice was full of hope and determination. Inspired by Sophie, Gloria began to open up to new experiences. Sophie took her for a walk in the local park, something Gloria hadn't done in months. Sitting on a bench, watching the children play, Gloria felt a sense of peace and gratitude. "Thank you for bringing me here, Sophie. I didn't know how much I needed this," Gloria said with tears of joy in her eyes. Sophie smiled and took Gloria's hand. Sometimes, all we need is a bit of fresh air and good company. You will always have that with me. After weeks of small joys and reconnections with life, Gloria felt revitalized. However, life, in its unpredictability, had other plans. During her routine appointment, the worried expression of the doctor prepared Gloria for the news she feared. "Gloria, I'm sorry to inform you that your cancer, which seemed to be receding, now shows signs of strengthening," the doctor revealed, with a voice full of professionalism and empathy. Gloria felt the ground disappear beneath her feet. "But I was feeling better. How is that possible?" she asked, with a mix of disbelief and fear in her voice. "Unfortunately, cancer is unpredictable and complex. We will need to adjust your treatment and perhaps consider new approaches," the doctor explained, offering not just a medical plan but also moral support. Upon returning home, Gloria shared the news with Sophie, sitting in the kitchen where they had had so many conversations. "Let's face this together, Gloria, no matter how hard it is," Sophie said firmly, but her eyes revealed the concern she felt. Gloria, though grateful for Sophie's unwavering support, felt a wave of hopelessness. She was beginning to lose hope again. "Now everything seems to be falling apart," Gloria confessed, with tears sliding down her face. In the days that followed, Gloria reflected on the injustice of life. She thought about how, despite her efforts and the newly rediscovered joy, her illness refused to give in. "Why me?" she wondered, lost in her thoughts. Sophie tried to offer comfort. "Life isn't always fair, Gloria, but even in the darkest moments, there are rays of light. You are one of those rays for me and for everyone who knows you," Sophie said, trying to infuse some strength into Gloria. In the midst of emotional turmoil, Gloria found an unknown strength within herself. She decided that, regardless of the outcome, she would continue fighting not only for herself, but also for those who loved her and whom she loved. One afternoon during the week, encouraged by Sophie, Gloria decided to call Henry. She needed to tell him about the recent deterioration of her health, hoping that perhaps this could provoke some change in his attitude. With trembling hands and feeling every beat of her heart, she dialed the number. "Henry, I need to tell you what the doctor said," Gloria began hesitantly. The voice on the other end of the line was cold and distant. "Gloria, what do you want now?" "Eric and I are busy with our lives," Henry interrupted. "I'm sorry to bother you, but my cancer has worsened." "I thought you should know," Gloria said, trying to contain her emotion. There was a pause on the other end of the line before Henry responded. "Gloria, that doesn't change anything for us. I have made my decision. Eric and I are better distancing ourselves from all that negativity, and your illness is no longer our responsibility." Gloria felt as if a dagger had pierced her heart. "Henry, please don't speak like that. I am still your wife, the mother of your child," she pleaded, her voice broken by pain and despair. "That leads me to my next point. I am sending the divorce papers. I think it's better for everyone that we move forward," Henry said, with an impersonal and definitive voice. Tears filled Gloria's eyes. "Henry, we can't try to resolve this through Eric," she asked, clinging to her last hope. "No, Gloria. I have made my decision. Eric agrees. It's the best. It's time for us to leave you alone," Henry replied, ending the call without further words. Gloria hung up the phone feeling abandoned and helpless. Sophie, sensing Gloria's anguish, approached and hugged her tightly. "Don't worry, Gloria. You're not alone. I will be here no matter what happens," Sophie said. But the words seemed insufficient to console the deep pain Gloria felt at that moment. Gloria realized that the path ahead would be lonely and difficult. The news of her worsening health, followed by Henry's rejection and coldness, plunged her into a spiral of sadness and desolation. She wondered how the man with whom she had shared so many years of her life, the father of her child, could distance himself so much from her in her most vulnerable moment. One of the nights, alone with herself, Gloria found herself flipping through photo albums. Images of smiles and moments shared with Henry and Eric now seemed like another life. With each page she turned, a tear fell, marking the photographs with drops from a story that was falling apart. The day the divorce papers arrived, Gloria felt a mix of pain and liberation. Holding the envelope in her hands, she reflected on the years of dedication to her family, now crumbled into sheets of paper. Enough of suffering, she told herself. It's time to lift my head and face life as it is. Sophie, observing the transformation in Gloria, approached. You are stronger than you think, Gloria, and I will be here with you every step of the way, she said. As they organized some of Gloria's things, Sophie found an old notebook. It was a wish list from Gloria. Simple things she always wanted to do, but never had time for. Look what I found. How about we start fulfilling some of these wishes? Sophie suggested with a spark of enthusiasm in her eyes. Gloria smiled, surprised. I have forgotten these wishes. They are such simple but meaningful things for me. The first wish on the list was to visit a local garden. Sophie organized the visit, and together they spent an afternoon surrounded by flowers and plants. Gloria felt every aroma and admired every color, feeling a joy she had forgotten. It's incredible how something so simple can be so beautiful, Gloria said, with an expression of pure happiness on her face. As Gloria and Sophie flipped through the wish notebook, a new idea emerged. Look at this, Gloria said. Spending a day at the beach, feeling the sand and the sea. It sounds wonderful, Sophie exclaimed. Gloria smiled, remembering the old wish. I don't remember the last time I went to the beach. It would be really beautiful. The idea sparked enthusiasm. The following weekend, Sophie organized a trip to the nearest beach. Sitting on the sand, Gloria closed her eyes, feeling the sea breeze and listening to the sound of the waves. It's so peaceful here. Thank you for the walk, Gloria said, her voice full of gratitude. Sometimes, all we need is a bit of peace, Sophie replied. Another item on the list was to watch a spectacular sunrise. Sophie, always willing to fulfill Gloria's wishes, planned a morning hike. Let's get up very early tomorrow. You are going to see the most beautiful sunrise of your life, Sophie promised. The next day, even in the darkness of dawn, Gloria and Sophie found the perfect spot to watch the show. When the sun rose over the horizon, Gloria felt a wave of emotion. She had forgotten how wonderful it was to see the start of a new day. She said with tears of joy in her eyes as she flipped through the notebook. Sophie pointed to another wish. Learn to dance, Gloria said. That would be amazing, Gloria responded, laughing a little. Gloria, I don't know how to dance, Sophie replied. And with my health, Gloria added. Sophie interrupted with an encouraging smile. It doesn't matter, Gloria. The idea is to have fun. Let's find a beginner's class. You're going to love it. In the weeks that followed, Gloria and Sophie attended salsa classes. At first, unsure, Gloria soon let herself be carried away by the music and the rhythm. I never thought I could do something like this, Gloria said, panting but radiant after a class. You have shown that there is still so much to live and enjoy, Sophie said, hugging Gloria and sharing her joy. Every day is a new opportunity. Gloria and I are here to live all those days with you, dear cousin. Over time, the dynamic between Gloria and Sophie continued to evolve. Sophie spent more and more time caring for Gloria, whose health, unfortunately, began to decline. The moments of joy and fulfillment provided by the wish list were now accompanied by periods of weakness and fatigue, a constant reminder of the battle Gloria was facing against cancer. Gloria began to reflect on her company, a prosperous business she had built with dedication and passion over the years. The company, known for its success and innovation, had always attracted buyer interest. Now, with her health deteriorating, Gloria began to seriously consider selling it. One quiet afternoon, sitting with Sophie in the garden, Gloria brought up the topic. Sophie, I've been thinking about my company. I've received several purchase offers over the years. Maybe it's time to accept one of them, she said, looking thoughtfully toward the horizon. Sophie looked at Gloria, understanding the depth of the decision. You've put so much of yourself into that business, Gloria, but maybe it's a good idea considering everything that's happening. It would give you one less thing to worry about. Exactly, Gloria nodded. I don't know when or if I will be able to focus 100% on the company again, and the money from the sale could secure my financial security for many, many years. In the days that followed, Gloria began meeting with advisors and potential buyers, organizing everything from her home with Sophie always by her side, offering support. After several meetings and negotiations, Gloria finally decided to sell her company to a buyer who shared her vision and work ethic. With the sale completed, Gloria felt a mix of relief and nostalgia. A part of me will always be in that company, she told Sophie. But now I can focus on my health and enjoy the time I have. Sophie took Gloria's hand and said, "You made the right decision, Gloria. Now it's time to take care of yourself." A few weeks after the sale of the company, Gloria received an unexpected call. It was Henry, with an unusually friendly tone. "Gloria, Eric and I have been wanting to visit you. We miss you," Henry said, with forced sweetness in his voice. Surprised by the sudden change in attitude, Gloria accepted the visit but remained cautious. She knew it wasn't normal. "It will be a pleasure to see you all," she responded, keeping her voice neutral. When Henry and Eric arrived, Gloria immediately noticed the difference in their behavior. They were exceptionally attentive and affectionate, a big change compared to the coldness and distance of the previous months. "Mom, we're so sorry for everything. We wanted to be here for you," Eric said, with a look that Gloria couldn't fully decipher. Sophie, observing the scene, felt a pang of distrust. Later, she shared her concerns with Gloria. "Don't you find it strange that they are changing their attitudes so quickly, right after the sale of the company?" Gloria sighed, with an understanding expression on her face. "I know, Sophie. It's hard not to see this as an interest in the sale money, but I'm going to let it happen. I want to see how far this goes." In the following days, Henry and Eric made several visits, always showing exaggerated concern and interest in Gloria's finances. During one of these visits, Henry began talking about Gloria's financial future. "You should think about how to manage your money now. Maybe invest or even include us in your will for security," he suggested, with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Gloria, pretending to consider the suggestion, replied, "It's a good idea, Henry. I'll think about it." Internally, she was fully aware of their intentions. Despite the pain of recognizing Henry and Eric's behavior, Gloria decided to stay calm and not let herself be easily deceived. If this video has helped you connect more with yourself and inspired you on your path of growth, take action and subscribe to the Vidas da Inspiration channel to discover more stories that will fill you with motivation and hope. I would love to hear your opinion, so leave a comment telling me how this story has impacted your life or what reflections it has left you with. And if you think this message can inspire someone you know, share it with your friends so they can also find inspiration and purpose in their lives.